Where am I originally from? I'm originally from California. So I actually spent a lot of my childhood in Salinas, California, and then on the Cruce Plains. So my mom's family has a ranch on the Cruce Plains, and we were there a lot of weekends and most summers and holidays, anything like that. And then throughout college, since I went to college in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly, we ended up out there most of the time. So I think it was like 5 years in a row that I did not go back to Salinas, and then finally my parents had sold the house there. And so, but growing up in Salinas, when I was little, I hated it because it wasn't the ranch. The house was in town. We had neighbors, and I just, like, it never really felt like home to me. The ranch always felt like home. But then looking back, like, we got a really great education. We got to be really involved in FFA. I got to jackpot my pigs and my steers and be really involved in parliamentary procedure and public speaking, and I got a lot of networking. And then when I went to Cal Poly, I was able to expand on that throughout a lot of other projects, and I just met a really cool base of people that I think kind of stem from the fact that I was able to be involved in all those things in high school. So I think the last time we went back to Salinas was maybe 12 years ago. Oh, I went back for Salinas Rodeo one time. But Salinas isn't really home to me. It never really has been. It's a great place with some great people, but I think our family's ranch has always felt a lot more like home to me. What were you doing before or at the startup of Rural Haze? So, like I said, we started in 2013. I actually did not leave my regular job until May of 2018. So a little over 9 months ago, I actually started doing Rural Haze full time. So I think it was my husband finally saying, you know, Jane, you have 7 employees. I think it's time that if you can justify having them, that you quit burning the candle on quite so many ends. So we had a baby that was about to turn a year old, and my life had gotten pretty crazy and busy, and my true love, I think, was Rural Haze. And so I left a great company called Fibro Animal Health and dove into Rural Haze full time. I have absolutely loved it. It's been great. I do miss my job like crazy though. So before this, when I graduated college, I worked for a company called IEH, which is a laboratory company, and I was helping them to manage labs on the West Coast for produce and kind of various regions throughout the United States as well. But most of what I worked on was food safety in the field, and then the testing protocols within the lab and the management of the labs and just kind of your basic stuff. But and then that expanded into pharmaceutical sales at AgriLabs, and I did anything from cats to calves, horses to I always like to say chinchillas. I don't know if that's a thing, but if there's anyone who has a chinchilla that's used AgriLabs product, you're welcome. But most of what I did was dairies and feedlots, and that was my true love. My true love has always been beef and cattle, and there was no doubt in my mind about 4 years ago that my life goal was to be able to live on the ranch and have my own cattle, and I was able to do that. I partnered with my parents on some cattle about 5 years ago, and it was a total life goal. I was pumped. I was like, this is my life. I'm finally starting it. This is what I'm going to do. And AgriLabs had just sold their vaccine line, so I took a position with Fibro Animal Health and working in ruminant nutrition, so nutrition for dairy cows. And I just, like, I didn't want any changes in my life. My life was perfect. And I went on a fishing trip in Texas and met a guy on a boat, and his name was Peter. And now we're married and we have a baby. So we started, it was about a year after we met, we started dating. And about 9 months after we started dating, I moved to Idaho and we got engaged. And then we got married next June. So literally we were dating like a year and 2 months before, like, we got married. It was kind of a quick thing, but you know, he was the right guy, so I figured, why the hell not? And so, and then we were planning on waiting about 5 years to have our son, and about 3 months in, I thought I had an ulcer, and it was our son. So fast forward, the due date of our first baby was on our first anniversary. And you know what happened in the middle of that? I had just signed the lease on our first store. So I was 8 months pregnant when we opened up the shop. And I think that that's what really shows what your team is made of, right? So I left to have him, and when I came back, the shop was 10 times better than when I left. And I thought I had a really good team, but I didn't realize I had this like dream team. And they all rose to the challenge. They improved things. They mastered different areas. I think that was the coolest part, and that's when I really realized that like this could be something big. I have this really cool group of people, and this could actually become something that we can influence lives, and we can, you know, help people build their confidence. We can help them find their perfect outfit, and that we could really impact our local community. So that's Jane Casper. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you for making my dreams come true and being part of this journey. It's like I said, if when I graduated college, if you would have said like, what's your dream job? I would have said working in a feedlot. I love feedlots. I love ruminant animals. I can talk about feed conversions all day long. And so it's funny because I'll run into people and they're like, what are you doing now? I'm like, oh, I have like a boot company. And they're like, well, I thought you were like in the beef thing. I'm like, well, technically I sell them still. They're just, I mean, these are pythons. I never farmed those, but you know, it's still their skin, so it technically works. But it's funny how life takes you different places, and also I wouldn't be able to do that without the support of my husband. He's the one that stuck behind me for this entire thing, and not stuck behind me, but he actually, you know, helped to push me. And on those days where I get frustrated, he'd be like, all right, let's look at it from a different angle. And there's things where I get stuck, like we weren't advertising on Google for a long time, and he'd say, why not? And I was like, well, I don't know how to do it. And he's like, okay, well, you kind of got to learn these things. And so the next day he came over to my condo, it was when we weren't married yet, and he's like, hey, I found this company, and we're going to have a conference call with them tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So it's really amazing. I'm very, very grateful for the life that I live and the team that we have. And if you guys are ever in Nampa, Idaho, I encourage you to come meet us and to meet them and to kind of get a feel for who we really are. I think that social media is a great tool because we get to know each other to some extent. I feel like you guys get to know me better sometimes than I get to know you, and I would love to get to know you guys better. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.